apologize for the lateness of our start, but seeing that 7 o'clock is coming past, I call this meeting to order. Do we have a student who can do the Pledge of Allegiance for us? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. McCormick, can you do roll call for us, please?
Yes. Please. David Burke. Here. Jerry Jackson.
Here.
Aaron McCormick, present. Anthony Preston. Jose Rodriguez.
Here.
Tricia Shelton.
Present.
Alan Zeal.
Present.
Thank you. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make a motion.
May I have a second?
I'll take the motion.
This works.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Now I'd like to offer any public comment on the agenda items only. Okay, seeing none, we move forward.
Okay. Our first presentation, can I please have the PTA, Mr. Houston?
All right. So we just concluded our time for fundraiser, and this ended up being the best fundraiser that the PTA's ever had, at least since I've been here. We ended up selling $4,300 in notes, that's 500 notes. We ended up seeing a profit of $1,800. Total individual orders was also set a record, so we had 46 individual participants, which was tremendous for us. And our largest individual order was just shy of $600. Somebody sold 79 notes. So very, very impressive. Definitely our best showing thus far. 79 notes.
And what was the total?
The total dollar amount was $4,308 in hoagies that we sold, of which we profited $1,885. Now, we had set a modest target of 1,000, so we nearly doubled what we were shooting for. So, congratulations, excellent. As far as upcoming events, so we have our Scholastic Book Fair coming up this week. So our PTA room, if you go past there, it's now been transformed into the book fair, and it will be the book fair for the entire week. This is also going to coincide with our Title I reading night on Thursday. So the PTA will be selling nachos, and we will also have the spirit store. So the 100th day of school, which happened last week, maybe the week before. The PTA provided bookmarks and pencils conference for the PTA store to celebrate there. And as far as other upcoming events, so we have our yearbook sales, which are going to begin on March 11th. We also have our Pittsburgh Popcorn, which is our final fundraiser of the year. The sales will begin on March 18th. And then we have our Spring Fling, which is our dance that comes K through 5, and that will be on April 12th.
Great, thank you, Mr. Houston. Yeah, the 100th day celebration was pretty cool. Thomas's video went viral.
Yeah, I saw it.
I just want to say thank you. Every year you guys put that on for us, and this year was tremendous. I think it's better every year. Thank you. Okay, can I have our house system representing the relationship core value? I'm sorry.
Yes. No. Oh. Thomas, Mrs. Brown, and myself visited Atlanta, Georgia, to visit the Ron Clark Academy. If any of you are familiar, if not, I highly recommend looking it up. Our eyes were open to a lot of things. It's an amazing school, and while they have funding opportunities that we obviously don't have, we did bring one thing back, and that was the House Committee. So we realized that the House Committee fits in line with our PBIS system. So what it is that at the beginning of the year, we separated the kids into 4 different houses. We named the houses based on our character traits: humility, perseverance, respect, courage. You never know which one she is on. Respect, so the kids, we have purchased, or PBIS has purchased the PBIS reward system. So I should have it up on my phone, but it's a reward system where we track the kids with their points for earning. They earn points based on, we call them the Essential 25, and they earn points for their house. So each kid was placed in a house. We had a big celebration. We put their house in the envelope. They opened it. It was a big celebration. So the kids have a QR code, or you can look them up by name. You can create groups. What I do, I go around in class. I use it for academic reasons, for character. You can go around and scan for points. So it's a point system where each house is competing against each other. We update the house points on the TVs in Prep Academy and in front of the schools. The quarter 1 winner was Perseverance. So we did a house party, and so we had a movie and popcorn and refreshments for the kids. They got to be dismissed from class. It was just a nice time for them to celebrate their rewards for doing the right thing. This quarter, we're taking it up a notch. Mr. Jones had an idea of contacting Tickets for Kids and trying to do a field trip for that. So I have put in a request for 3 separate field trips for each grade band, and the winning house, which we will be announcing tomorrow. Since there's students here, I'm not going to say it now. Will be announced tomorrow at town hall meeting, and then I'll present that.
They get points for academics too?
They do. I use my points for academics mainly. So if I'm having a lot of participation in class, or if I'm not having a lot of participation in class, it can go both ways. The kids are becoming very competitive, and they're competitive in nature. So if they see that, that Adam is earning more points than them by answering more questions than them, then they want to earn more points. The house points are announced over the loudspeaker. Mrs. Victor does a great job of that at the end of the day, and they cannot wait until they hear the house music comes over, and then Mrs. Victor makes the announcement, and they go wild.
So the points are at teacher discretion?
They are by it's called the Essential 25 rules. So we, as a house committee, we sat down in the summertime and we created a list of 25 rules that we felt are important to our values here, and we fit them under our care value system.
Can I add something also to the academic piece? This time we did something a little different by adding in the growth. We talked about with how ESSA is really focusing a lot on growth. So we now attach our house system to those growth measures. So right now, the House of Humility has shown the most growth. So now we also attach it to the actual academics as well.
Yeah, Mr. Julock actually just printed me out a spreadsheet for STAR showing which house has the most growth in the STAR assessment. And then I also thought of doing that quarterly too with their grades, seeing which house has the best grades for the quarter. So it ties in nicely with their academics as well as with their character, how they're treating each other. It works very well with our PBIS system.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was just going to say that we are all a part of the house system. Not just
We are all part of the house system, the whole school, including Ms. Bridget.
Yes.
We all belong to a house. So it's not only a way for the students to become academically competitive, but also for us to be more competitive with each other and raise the students up. Yes, the teachers are able to get each other. Yes, they do.
Someone talking about we're gonna do Ms. Victor, now we do a staff of the month now related to that. Go ahead, Ms. Victor.
I'm putting myself in the entrepreneur house.
Okay, so we, through PBIS rewards, there's also a portion of it called teacher rewards. So teachers are able to recognize each other and give the points for different things in terms of, care and anything else. If, someone helps me out, Ms. J helped me out do PBIS stuff, so I gave her some points. And then what we do is I can go in and we look and see who has the most points for the month, and then they get our staff care award for that.
We're doing this across all grades. How does it fit in with, there's obviously a lot that the kids have to learn and manage with these essential 25. I'm assuming, how does it fit in with micro society? And you also have a lot there that they have to take into consideration every day.
So we get points in micro just like we would throughout the day. So a manager who's doing their job and they're leading in the right way, they're making the right decisions, they're doing their job. If an employee in a venture is greeting customers in the right way, we can give them points in the same manner as we would in our academics. Even in the hallways, if they're walking nicely in the hallway, anybody, it doesn't have to be a teacher. It could be Miss Cindy or Miss Linda in the front office can give them points because they're also in the house. All the janitors are in the house, so it could be anybody in the school at any time throughout the day where the kids are really very important.
Yes.
I was just going to ask, how is this information communicated to families?
So we sent out a letter at the beginning of the year explaining what the health system was, encouraging them to research the health system because it's actually one of the biggest things that teachers take back from their office to their middle schools. So there's a lot of information out there on it. So we do that, and then I send home guideword messages, about our points. I don't know what other teachers do, but that could be something that we can talk about. Oh yeah, parents can access the kids' points through the PBIS rewards app, so they can constantly see in real time what the kids are earning.
And another question I had is, do the students understand what these words mean? So if I would ask a student who's on the humility team, would that student know what that means? Is that communicated to children and they understand that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. So humility, perseverance, respect, and courage are all part of our care lessons that we do on Fridays for community meeting time. So we talk about all of those characters.
Young lady, what house are you in, sweetheart?
Respect.
Oh, tell me what it means to respect.
It means to be kind to people. It means don't be mean. Don't bully others. Make sure they're included when they're left out.
Excellent. That's fantastic. I am very impressed. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, we're going to move on to are there any more comments or questions? We'll move on to our consent agenda. So for the board, there are a number of items here. So there's going to be one motion to approve of all items unless you would like to pull an item from the consent agenda, or if you need a little more information that you'd like me to go over.
May I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Questions? All in favor? Aye.
I have another question. But, so,
You can ask me.
I got it.
Thank you.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Motion passes.
Okay. So moving to the next few items. For recommendation of myself, the approval of the UPMC Children's Hospital School Health Partnership Agreement. Although you guys have a copy of that agreement in here. But just to give a quick summary, we've gone in partnership with UPMC, and so as the school, along with the Wellness Committee, and more so just trying to wrap up our wellness initiatives. This year, we're actually we're successful receiving a $1,000 grant from UPMC to help with wellness as well. So this gives an opportunity to add on to those opportunities, but also just push our wellness committee a little further and do some really cool things, or bring in some really cool things for our students to take advantage of, and our staff.
May I have a motion?
Make the motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Okay, item 5, we received a facilities request from Rise High League. Rise High is an AAU basketball organization, in which you have a copy of that request as well, and their documents. So they presented us with their certificate of liability, as well as their nonprofit status also. What I will say for the board, we haven't necessarily considered charging groups to use our facility. And I think it's a good time for us to have that conversation. You know, obviously, we don't have to, especially if there are tax exempt organizations. But since we purchased this building back in October, obviously there's going to be more groups who are looking to make use of our building. So I wouldn't encourage the board to be the organization or facility that's just letting anyone use the space for free at any given time. I think it's important to really put in some parameters and some guidelines of, you know, how we're going to let groups use the space. So I think we should have a little discussion about that and just talk about, you know, how we'd like to move forward. There doesn't necessarily have to be a decision that is made today, but something for us to definitely talk about right now.
So why haven't we done it in the past? Simply because we didn't know the
We
building?
were leasing the building, so yeah, that was one of the, well, we would have to get approval from the owner. Yeah,
So we're talking about organizations that aren't part of the school.
correct.
Have we had requests?
For,
We had any requests of anybody that's not part of the school that wants to use the building?
well, this
Is it
one
public?
here, this one here is pretty much, I'm not going to say it's the first one. This is the first one this year. We've had several in the past, and we haven't, I mean, some we have not approved. And others like the YMCA, for example, since we had a relationship with them at our old building, and then we approved it, but they didn't. It had since they approved this building, so.
Do we have a liability risk covered?
We should just, that's an issue.
That's
I think
another
we should just have,
issue.
we should just do that in our insurance, but bottom line is there'll be groups that are interested, they find out that it's available,
Right.
right? I mean, volleyball leagues.
Yeah, right. One thing we've always talked about is if for some reason if there's any exchange of monies or anything on site, or if they're charging people to use the space or to take part in this program while they're using the space, that's something to consider, and to make a decision on whether or not we're going to charge them for the use of the space. But obviously, if it's free for even the participants, you know, maybe we can.
Who's the essential that use it?
Yeah, we should draft, we should work on drafting like that. And if we have to.
And would you make sure it doesn't interfere with your programs that you have going on?
Yes, so what we do is the way the facilities request structure works, our procedures, it's originally submitted to Ms. Cindy, our office manager, and if it's a request that's coming from an organization that we're currently partnering with, so normally like the PTA or our program that we currently have, Ms. Thomas makes the decision on whether or not we like to rent that space out. We don't charge those groups, of course. But if it's not, it's an external group, as this one is, it's usually presented to the board. So I review it, and I will make sure all the necessary insurances there, documentation, no being a for-profit, non-profit, whatever sort of organization, and then it's forwarded to the board. So
In the use agreement, you can put in there like the liability.
yeah, we have there's certain documents that we do request, and on this one, we're listed as an additional insurer, so we are protected. Anything else, Josh? Anything to add?
No, we've worked on this issue before. I think that we're in a good position as it relates to facility use agreements and the like, and requiring certain documentation. The outstanding question is whether or not we, in the future, look to charge for the facility and what parameters there are as it relates to that. And if that is something that the board is interested in doing, it just needs to be there active law, not had non-discriminatory.
So I suggest what we would do at our next Finance and Facilities Committee meeting, let's add it to the agenda. We'll further discuss it. And if it's okay with the board, what we'll do is we'll make a recommendation to the board on what that function will look like and what those parameters and guidelines will look like as well. So, but for this particular, right.
I can't imagine this would probably be the biggest room that would get requested.
You'll see the next agenda item is actually for the our grounds outside.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So, but yeah, so as it relates to this particular request, at this time, it's on the table. I will say that I would not have probably forwarded to the board or discussed it with the Finance and Facilities Committee if I wasn't in agreement with the group. It sounds like they do they're doing a great thing, obviously, for the youth. And I've heard good things about the organization. So,
How soon are they looking to?
it sounded like as soon as possible, to be honest. They had originally requested to use it from starting this month until August, but we had them pull back from that. So the request is for 2 months at a time. So depending on how it goes over the next 2 months, we can make the decision to extend their use or not. So and I think they're using it. I don't know, that's not every day of the week.
My son plays karate.
Oh, okay.
So he's in Sharpsburg and Cornwall right now, but they do 3 days out of the week,
Okay.
weekends as well. So every Sunday, he has practice on Sunday, but from what I understand, around the younger group, he uses this facility, I believe, 2 to 3 days a week as well. But they already mentioned it to me.
Yeah, they were really flexible with the time of usage as well. So I know originally they requested to use it at 6 o'clock. Our after-school program doesn't end until 6, so we asked them to push it back to 7, which they had agreed to. So and the facilities request is actually in your documents also.
So do we need to make a decision on this, whether we need to use it or need it?
They started already.
Yeah.
And based on what you just said, they're looking at 2 months at a time. So that we just need to make a decision right now as to the first 2 months.
Yes.
And then, as
We
we
may consider whether or not we're on it.
based on how it goes, right?
Are we charging them? Do we have a price?
So for this, since we have not yet implemented that sort of, I guess thing, I wouldn't, obviously we can't charge them. There's nothing written in from an equitable standpoint that wouldn't make sense. So I think, which is going to be helpful in our April meeting, if we discuss this, if we do come up with a price, then the next 2 months we can potentially request that.
To make them aware that,
Absolutely.
make them aware that this is a one-time freebie.
Yeah, Yeah, well, I mean, it's also possible that it may continue to be free, so it really depends on how we structure
Right.
the use of the
But
building.
again, initially, we're deciding on the first 2 months.
Right.
Are you ready to take a vote? No more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any dissension? Anyone abstain? Motion passes.
Great. Okay, so the next item is the approval. It's another facilities request. This one is for the Pittsburgh NFL. It's a flag football league. This group actually used to be in partnership with the YMCA. And obviously, as we know, the YMCA in Penn Hills has dissolved. So they're no longer here. This group has submitted for their own tax exempt status. They have not yet been approved, but they recently submitted for that. So, but we did receive the documentation or proof that they've submitted for this request. And I will also say in the past, because of our partnership with the YMCA, we've allowed them to use these fields. So this isn't really anything different than what we've allowed in the past, but they're coming to us because they're no longer necessarily affiliated with the YMCA. So it is somewhat of a different approval as it relates to the organization that we're going into partnership with, or allowing to use the space. Once again, as I mentioned, regarding the grass track group, they've done a good job in just, respecting our space, and we haven't had any complaints or problems with them while they were here. So I'm okay with it.
So you said that they're willing to use the outside.
Yeah, they're usually going to use outside starting in April until the end of June. So they're usually here. It looks like they have Saturdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
And are they all only outside? They don't come inside?
They're on the outside, yes. So they don't
Okay.
have any use of the inside the building.
So no restroom, anything like that, or water fountain, or whatever. So,
Correct. The only thing what will have to be mindful of is our after-school program, and Ms. Buckner's not here. I believe it starts towards the end of June. Last year we started after 4th of July, but I believe they may be starting at the end of June this year, but we were using outdoor space. The summer program, the summer program, which is the same after-school program. So we'll just have to work on those logistics when that time comes.
May I have a motion?
Oh, wait.
May I have a second?
I said,
Any additional discussion, questions? All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Anyone abstain? Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, so for this next item, so this came about, so the new, and some from you guys remember, but Dr. Lisa Palmieri, who formerly was the Chief Academic Officer at Nazareth College of Career Prep, is the new president of the Boys and Girls Club in Washington. Okay, yes, so as you guys know, Nazareth Prep, we've built a great relationship with them over the years. We have over 8th grade students who actually were accepted to that high school and attend there. Since she's taken over, she wants to continue the relationship with us. Actually, we were actually approached by her with potentially housing the Boys and Girls Club at our school in the summer, because they know the YMCA is no longer here in Penn Hills. So that's something we'll be talking about in the future. And so she reached out to me and invited me to attend their gala, and which is coming up, I think in a few months, this year, to attend their gala. So that's a great opportunity for networking and partnerships, and just really to support what they're doing for the youth, and what they're potentially going to be doing for the Penn Hills community in the future. So it's important to really get our face out there and really network and really connect with some of those folks that are in that arena. So this request here is to purchase, I believe it's their VIP ticket, in which is, it sounds VIP, but you can't necessarily purchase an individual ticket that's cheaper. You can donate money for a kid, but in order for you to attend as an individual, it's a $200 donate or $200 ticket that you need to purchase. And so this is what that request is for to the board, our recommendation.
We have a minute.
How many, this is an board designee, so are you looking for one?
So just one, but just in the event that I wouldn't be able to attend. And so I would then probably recommend that someone from leadership attend in my place. But at the moment, I'm planning to attend.
So you're looking for one ticket person?
Yes.
We have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
We have a second? Any additional questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Anyone abstain? Motion passes.
Perfect.
Sir,
Okay.
any new business?
Yeah, the last thing I would like to say, and I think, Jose, you may want to add to this as well, but just to remind the public, we do have our event that's going to be held at Griff's Grounds Cafe on March 8th. It's an event that we're inviting investors, business owners, business leaders, entrepreneurs to come and learn more about our school. We're really trying to ramp up our partnership efforts. We've done a great job with our mentorship program where we have a number of mentors coming in and meeting with our Prep Academy students or 7th to 8th grade students on a weekly basis. So that's been going well. Now we're looking to receive some financial contributions to what we're doing. We're soliciting and raising money for a Shark Tank event that is being held on May 31st. So this is going to be a great opportunity to really sit down and have a real conversation with some folks who are really interested in what we're doing here at Penn Charter School, but also to share our story. And so I believe we may have a student there, Ms. Williams, correct me if I'm wrong, that's going to be also in attendance and speaking to the guests that are there as well. So that's going to be a great event. And Jose is a part of our entrepreneurship committee as well as Ms. Williams. And so we've been planning and talking about this over the last few months, and it seems to be coming together pretty well. Anything you want to add, Jose?
No, you did a good job for the most part. I have some postcards here. I'll hand them out to all of you before we leave. If you know anybody who owns a business who we think would be great to attend the event, it'd be phenomenal if you could just let them know about the date, time. It's all on here. And same thing with the board guys. We'll break afterwards. I'll talk to you a little bit more about it and some of the expectations that the committee has for the board and how to support the Shark.
Great. The other thing I want to add is we do have an open enrollment event on March 1st, next Friday, right? So we have a catered to open enrollment event, and I just want to remind the public that if you know any potential kindergarten, first grade, or second grade students, prospective students for next year, we have an event where we're going to give a walkthrough, where there's going to be some lesson demonstrations, some activities that the parents or the students can take part in. It's great to just really check out our culture and see what we're doing on a daily basis. As the teachers know and the staff know, we don't prepare anyone for visits. It's just more so a blind visit, and you walk in and you get what you get. And for the most part, that's been positive. So hopefully it stays that way. But yeah, so that's an event March 1st from, is it 9 to 11? Ms. Thomas? Ms. Thomas, is it from 9 to 11 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay.
It's 9 to 10.
9 to 10, okay. So if you know of anyone, to spread the word. We've been pushing it via social media. And Ms. Williams has postcards if you'd like to take any of them and pass it on to anyone that you know.
Mr. Jones, is it only K-2?
It's only K-2. Yeah. So we had our regular open enrollment event back in November, maybe November 8th. But this one just K-2. And we just, obviously, that's the foundation of what we do. So our goal is to really grow the school, in the very intimate those early years. And so we really want to try to grow and get more interest in those formative years before any students decide to transfer. Although we get a number of students that transfer in the upper grade levels, but we prefer for students to be fully immersed in our program on the ground level in order for them to be successful when they do graduate as middle school students or 8th graders.
Do we know if we're filled to capacity for next year?
So we are in all the grade levels except for kindergarten. I think we have a few seats open there. So we accepted students on 2 weeks ago. I don't know the exact date. We accepted students 2 weeks ago, and we accepted 45 kindergarten students. Please be mindful that we'll also have some students that may be retained, so we recommend a student for retention. So it's always good to have some seats open in the event that does happen, so we're not overpopulating classrooms. But at the moment, there are a few seats, but there's also some students that potentially.
And so, is this event then just to kind of get some buzz about the school, or so these are not people who would potentially be coming next year?
They are also, so it's both of those things. So obviously the buzz is important, but also because there's always a possibility that students who said, or families who said they were going to re-enroll, they just don't show up. And that happens, year in and year out. And even, I think we had 21 students who informed us that they're not re-enrolling. So, we know we'll potentially have some seats, and we've since filled a number of those seats, outside of, obviously with kindergarten, there's some students outside of those retentions. So we're hopeful that there will be some potential students in the event that we do have seats that open up. But it's important for us to continue to recruit and advertise on an ongoing basis, even if it's just to help build our waiting list. We know from a financial perspective it helps, when we're soliciting or trying to request additional funding commitments from organizations. We can show that sustainability, right, and that interest that we have.
Any other new business? Mrs. Thomas?
I just want to bring the board's attention to the final page of the school report where it says updates. Please continue to look forward to those, because just as Mr. Jones spoke to you of a couple of the events that are coming, it is always appreciative when board members can attend different events. Like many, I can honestly say all of you attended one of our updated events here before in the past. So we want to continue to have your support in that. So please mark your calendars as it's listed here. I'm not going to go through each one of them, but please pay attention to that last page for those upcoming events. Thank you.
Micro is a great event for you guys to try to attend, board members.
Yes.
That's when you see what the kids have all year during the school day in action.
Yes.
And also, please make sure you purchase some micros, because your
Yes.
donation will be greatly accepted and appreciated.
Yes. And also to add, I just want to say thank you publicly to the board. Some of you were here last year that allowed us to be able, for me to be able to attend with the staff for the house system that we have. And part of what you do and what you say yes to allows us to bring those things back to the school. So that was one example of you saying yes to me and me being able to have a team for us to be able to come back. Also want to recognize the relationship team. Each one, Ms. Clark is, when we talk about our leadership team, it's based on our 4 core values. And relationship, Ms. Clark is over that relationship. And then she has under her PBIS, obeys PBIS represented by Ms. Victor. We have, next year she will be next year. That's what makes my obvious. So as we looked at that, we realized, like, wait a minute, it seems like that would be a natural fit, but we have the House Committee and PBIS. Just want to say that thank you all for being here tonight. And just say big, one of our new teachers, I don't know if you had a chance, you just wave your head. She's our 5th grade teacher this year. So I just want to recognize her, Ms. Patton, and everyone else here. Thank you.
Any other new business? Any public comment? Seeing none, may I have a motion for adjournment?
Oh,
Nope. Sorry.
just want to make mention that we do want to say publicly, we are glad that we have the opportunity to celebrate our man of excellence and Mr. Jones, and that will be celebrated tomorrow. And so many of your staff right here are going to be in attendance as well as the board. So already saying congratulations as well.
Thank you, I really appreciate it. And for those of you that are coming, thank you. And the ones who can't make it, but I know you'll be there in spirit. Thank you as well. And board members also who are attending. So that should be a great event tomorrow night. Take them this way.
Any other public comment? May I have a motion for adjournment? May I have a second?